no it's a mass buy na wo sponsor whole zone no I want to watch job on mass buy for no so when you man no for
ne bono price ya no okọ crampa di hia ne say ne obetua 30% of adena wo to no di aka no afi ba akokra na obetime
na spread
the amount
Munya in the upfront 30% of products to mass buy. Then can watch that 70%. A month be 10%. For how long?
It depends on the crocrane board. Oh, hey, you know. Oh, craft our Ghana card.
Wow.
Very, very important.
Wow.
Oh, craft our Ghana card. You better few details. Now, I didn't wait to 30% to pay.
Okay.
Now. Diakano ya spread the amount to net car cran wa bi chiebi unyet car cran we nyane ba bia
chede max buy
ti aje max buy ti yenko takra de market circle I just send the post office now.
Okay takra market circle post office in channel one max buy
one max buy
we do no ne bo
fantastic
you know stores na part do tum inside no flow blah 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 blah. Wow.
Mama Daroma and the whole zone. Yanko.
Just before I answer the whole zone question, the fellas, meeting can I mention that them na yepo street in do. And you know na menoli into portray and they follow me na. You do join me be like come on. In fact, highlighting so what you go Facebook into no log on Spice 91.9 FM. Answer to the whole zone today. Ebia Paris Saint-Germain what disappoint too. Another na one disappoint. No Chelsea mum no we impress wa. John on Spice 91.9 FM on Facebook. Like if you a commenter. Now so I hit the share button. So your friends and followers. Who to know what join the new normal and BBA with know what Korean. You know my shows no different from the others, you know. It's a magazine show. So you get the opportunity to follow along and enjoy us and when you do analysis and you do na you diamona. Now make the them post treating then such is the game. Bragging right no ya no here pa. Bragging right fellas. O here pa ka agro no ho. Ano so no ma ahe na ye pe football no sometimes yetum na ye kuntan na ye di fokrom no. Results be so botum oba humble one time. Oba silence o we na ntum mpompo paado. E we ntum mbe social media wo for cry emfa. So bragging do wom ntinde every Chelsea individual biala I encounter na all brag only jonunu man na the sebi only kuntan order allow your time will come obodu also do ntino personally I'm not surprised. Chelsea are all over the place and they are doing what they are doing. In fact they deserve all the accolades and the hype and then also swag or you know. Now to the new format FIFA what the with the FIFA Club World Cup. And you know ma you the first in history with the said competition and volleyball French and a French club no English club in the grand finale of the FIFA Club World Cup and format we overman a lot of excitement and say follow from my day one along the line the big clubs no will share gone with the days you winners you tutuala or the two teams no walk up final and pen walk okosha. And with the new 32 format and the what the bear no watch and there you go to me in some of these shocks and those in the game and going forward no so club between no qualifier or any just one match pen for trophy na sanaba. It's a pre-season one kasebo boko organize no you are getting it for yourself now ebesende this baby there along the line it may register player no abeno abeshim no abobo say one more day my think the onya papa but for a Chelsea fan onya a certain ya Pedro bebeshim no you could feel his impact at a point na red card to a certain Nicola Jackson na a suspension to the next player in that's the former player no bother my especially onya Liam Delap no na say ya Pedro na Mbanke Bunda would have had a 2 on team Chelsea. So that's flexibility and loss with there. Assign the player and register and go to their mom no more because of a pre-season match. And then they were born at Chelsea. We'll do that extent. Now to the fans in America. When the McKenna had a tournament in Ukonimo, no one corridor. No will shape on interest eventually. A final game na selling more the atmosphere na and how the stadium was full to the brim and capacity na. Ebonde no one interest in football no because I want soccer is different from football na. Eventually that excitement will come for them. Wobejiatum na say bia onye deda odina wodi echi na obasan so wa ade soccer na ihe ne yepe no na wode aka ho ene bo hu de ha wona Wallfield Stadium no on the final day to the Bremen capacity a Wolba do be enjoy Paris Saint-Germain and on the club in Chelsea along the line just as any other tournament you could feel the shocks and not normal. You heard a lot of shocks. Even the first game between Paris Saint-Germain and Atletico Madrid, no one saw on 4-1-2, you know. Well, one of the shocks 10-0 Bayern Munich winning in the first game of the tournament or competition. No, also ka shocks no. Paris Saint-Germain eventually never be one mention as the favorites no. We to go Lucy 1-0 the man setting Botafogo. Now Batiko 4. That's a Botafogo but best of fellas on your shocker. Shokona Harry la what the Manchester City for do. Real Madrid the games na there. So we saw some of these shots coming on not just in the early embers but even in the semi-finals. We saw one for Paris Saint-Germain and Real Madrid, you know. And on no man better na can there. Manye impressed with club offer the PSG. Nemu Madrid the moment midfielder what disappointed pa. And one Broma club offer no. That is Paris Saint-Germain and prepared so they were flattered by the results and the out in the Okonye against team on the offer Real Madrid no. Wabena Wallace and you who how porous their defense were. So these are some of the things are not before the grand finale no yellow huna we room and then for the final game now. Fellas, my main kade I admire and appreciate the confidence and belief of Chelsea fans no. Individuals the man what the born bra although beyond the blessing you automatically. Chelsea supporters hey Viminie confidence and boss in ye Charlie
Chelsea fans.
Mamma mia, my encounter one Chelsea fan will catch him the jack. It'll be no, it yentum, one can no yentum that be. The worst will be about kind of obeying. I would it was obeying. Yes, I didn't hear you sit on air debia. We will lose a game nimpo. Make kind of obeying.
Interest won't mean
unintentum. About my year with the hard way and through the hard way.
Yes.
But in California,
Center Sports.
Morgan no. Whoever sat from that, they were so confident. Don't know for Paris Saint-Germain, and that is where I admire Chelsea fans. The man, what into as an analyst, I would maybe to my end there with the circumstances, with the current form of both sides, and now all the strings are all around the one. Edible concluded that on my Paris Saint-Germain or your favorite. Dan club of the Chelsea. Analyst na said the fellas also on committee Arabiana.
Okay.
Enya boni bia. And for me. So analyst on the point of view no or different from obi on a fanatic. On a Chelsea fan. Or don't win the bragging rights internet and no. You beshe. I'm power no. It doesn't make the analyst no the worst off. On and said the say and a bookmaker no or you're wrong. If nothing at all. Na sana ought no favor PSG. The PSG is going to own sense in Chelsea there. And it's down to some of this analysis. On what to conclude what for a favorite and then also an underdog. It's a Chelsea fan able to take solace in previous finals and the grand finale say room and a underdog you know edify all odds neko for trophy no. You can also take solace in that and then also conclude there able to now for trophy. You a Chelsea fan. So me admire one confidence and also believe if I feel to the final game and the approach no. Minimum the number of times Felix metna na mark there I have faith and believe in Enzo Maresca in the Nejuma no le no and obi will follow me pa nim dey say o aka one person pa o wo film Enzo Maresca ma o ya me reason Fifa black meboa empena ina mata amaka
oh dear me tesa
over
ba coach almost say middle table.
I disagree with them. I disagree because he's shown glimpses. And say I go no boso normal no you feel no. And with this average materials on paper, man one more that kind of confidence. Or can we be the same Bobekela Tete na me no obi anya adwene obekada he is bad. He is poor just because he's not been winning some of the major trophies na expect no botu na we win no. And those that he's been losing. Oh yeah na me mention me bu said there. Who did he lose against? Or what that exposure and qualities na ahead of them also too na or kwagina wanya na. And I would add Enzo Maresca to the brackets of a certain Mikara Ateta Muna Ade. And with no approach to the game, even it was 3-0 in the time of goals in the first half. I saw PSG did the same to that's Inter Miami and even Real Madrid. First half none of my second half it was 0. And it was down to the yen respect to opponent no. One your grand there's a certain Lionel Messi. One your grand this is Real Madrid for God's sake. It my born 3 in the first half of you many face. That was one of the points that we should get the job done as early as the first half. Come and excite our fans and so you manage this game now and for 3 months 1 point. You to name fan. I feel to the little details. And a student of little details are Yebo school. To log on to Spice 91.9 FM on Facebook now. I get to enjoy. And then for Paris Saint-Germain, when shape and formation now, it is the usual. Until who there Luis Enrique now or the tweak in the formation or system that be. To the usual suspect, and the only notable absentee was that's William Patra. Now only a certain that's Bernardo Domble. And fellas, I think I felt the absence of William Patra. Patra don't know how Paris Saint-Germain because on now will protect a certain Macunos. I better walk out of age. But one young Yakwana no made us Ashraf Hakimi. Or Fabian Rivitin and a Yaun that is Neves, plus decided Usman Dembele and a Vicha Kwaraskilia. And the upfront, none of them were active. The last time Mekewa on Thursday, there with the clubs of Wabobra, even Paris Saint-Germain is telling that to the CCI Impo. Epobia, Wajibibu, we are seeing a bone and they set up no, all the departments in are active. But Chelsea and Enzo Maresca, they were able to deactivate all the departments. They deactivated it all. They had to set them back to factory settings. And that, what you share only. And it was all masterminded by the man in Enzo Maresca with the setup of Oye Malogusto, Trevor Chaloba, Lovico, and then also Cucurella on the left side. Now, Moises Caicedo and Reece James all ball in the interior right side of the midfield. And I think it was the decision now. Oye magic, no. Fellas, Reece James don't get 2 number 6.
Spice Center
Reece don't get 2
Sports.
number midfield, no.
You can't say.
Unjaibo.
Before coming back to Chelsea, he was a midfielder in the Championship.
Yeah.
The Lampard cover and the buy no someone be both too. It's a new position new to.
I think I enjoy him playing there rather than the right back of the team. Yes, and I will tell you why along the line in the analysis. And up front, Enzo, that is Fernandez and who push number right behind Yao. That is Pedro with Kupama on the right side and Pedro Neto on the left side. Now, Paris Saint-Germain, you see an approach be during the Real Madrid win. I'm doing this with you. And Sebekaya, even during the review,
okay,
we mentioned over and over with the kind of goals Real Madrid what the chair Paris Saint-Germain, especially the first two. One from the Asensio central defender, and only the other one from Antonio Rudiger. And then you know giveaways. All down to the press of the Parisians, especially the player in Ousmane Dembele. It is not that the one in the press, no. Yes.
Desari D ne
Vicha Kwaraskilia and Ousmane Dembele, they had to press the Chelsea defenders. Instead of the first press, now Jonas Spice 91.9 FM on Facebook. That is Trevor Chaloba. Quickly you could see that Ousmane Dembele all closing him down. All force no only mistake to them Raul Asensio here no. Only mistake to them Antonio Rudiger here no. But Adia Enzo Maresca that's a boys was the confidence that even under pressure, exercise restraint. Be bold, be a man. Keep the ball with confidence and find a mate.
Center Sports.
The Paris Saint-Germain plan A, they said, you get a ball and a young pressy. Chelsea for no way, no Chelsea were able to contain the pressure. They were able to press no over the word pressure because we have to press with pressure now. But when they put in the pressure, no, you can get Chelsea players, they will contain the pressure, will swing the passes among themselves. And they had to command the midfield. So in addition, because you Fabian Ruiz, you Yao Neves, you Vitinha Ma, conquer some of the best midfielders in the world. It's a cover a makeshift Reece James Domble with Moises Caicedo in the double pivot row. Now a push Enzo Fernandez don't quenima. It is supposed to be 3v2 on paper against him Chelsea. So Ben and the midfielders of Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha no Yao Neves away 3. Chelsea for only 2 in Moises Caicedo and Reece James. What you know will contain 1. You should have played in favor of Team Paris Saint-Germain. And it's down to the comfortability, the commanding nature of the midfielders of Team when they were from Chelsea. Chelsea created the first chance, the first glaring chance of the game. And will be off finishing, it was that is a Kupama. Born and go on target, Sebekaya. Highlighting and selling that to know. This was how our build up now started. And fellas, about 18 passes. and a Chelsea was swinging among themselves. Paris Saint-Germain play behind an anchor and San Kopama over that shot off target. No, and San over that shot off target. No, and a boom. Look at this one. Is telling that to do. Telling you in the fellas soon. 2 players now over the double vote with James and on the next one in Moises Caicedo. They have commanded the midfield. They bone Parisian Bia and Benwan. Paris Saint-Germain Nibi and Ubi. And even with James, that final pass, no, he was sandwiched by 3 other players. I want to one sound in Germany be refugee. 3 players on the way closer to him. In no confidence about where the betche. Obiobo Tua Enzo Maresca Somobo 6-2. Only there is Caicedo Mobo the double pivot no or Jibon the fellas not comfortably. While find the player switch play to the left side.
Very, very calm.
Very calm. Yes, that is the word I'm looking for. Very calm. Exercise. Remember home play cry or switch to the left side. A certain Pedro Neto is there. Or send a bond the penalty box in my. Look at that flick. The skill from Pedro.
Pedro.
2 Kopama. Obo na born alpha banado. And look at how on a Kopama why if you be mama can read no.
Obi enjina
nchen. Vitin a new of
na
so you invisible so you. Meanwhile on paper no, he's supposed to be the right sided that is winger. Ozo no kobo on the right side. No Jetem no dem a certain Enzo Fernandez. But that time no we Hoover I will be room war. Obi o penalty edge na no hadena or Malo Gusto no botu no. That was the overload from Team Chelsea for me. And Kopama was left free in that position. Born the bear and fellas or targeted the right side of that is Gigi Donnarumma. And 2 of the goals I was sharing were from those areas. What does it tell you? All along the Paris Saint-Germain watch winning Bobleni nano. Nenzo Maresca dot all still the team of the Paris Saint-Germain. And Gigi Donnarumma be very born a fable to national. It is no fluke that most of the chances that Chelsea will create even the goals I was sharing no finishing right side one. With the low shot, they're born for one, on to non channel, and the born for the right or on to non channel, and pan Chelsea that for one channel. And the first chance they made the channel, it was from that area. Keep on a dive, born into my uncle on target to Uncle question. You could see Enzo Fernandez Maresca no shock. With the tactics Ayari has throughout the week, no what to upon it. Oh, you go ball. Mamma mia. Oh, was all connected.
Boy, I was saying,
the worst you can copy back. But we never been on the Kelly, born into no one contact. Chelsea had their moment, they couldn't take advantage. In direct contrast, in the next few minutes, a bone that first chance was around the 7 minutes 31 seconds. So, after you could roam around the 15 minutes, the Paris Saint-Germain in one moment. Such is the game. Say underdog poor, or then you're bed and your moment, but just take advantage of your moment. And with the first 15 minutes, the Chelsea were making incursions on all that. We don't know one say or 10. And a Paris Saint-Germain will be one moment. From the right side, it was Victor Kvaratskhelia. No, but the shot across neutral point anymore. Obi no ben born was that's Marco Cucurella. Born be do decided you know that. On born in South Derby or Copa Sama. Usman Dembele as one on the more abashi. And it was intercepted by Marco Cucurella. That born into Manco. So the first glaring chance for Paris Saint-Germain after the winning moment, and so on, trying, they couldn't make advantage and they take advantage. You can decide how do you pass this ball, and a pass and so a square ball ni my Venn diagram no pyramid number ye. Okopasi na one Marco Cucurella. Wa save a win to na 1 yard that goal in there. There was no goal in the game as at that time. Paris Saint-Germain kept their press. A push Chelsea ma wakwa one answer wonu krom and the ball the chance na wolling out of that one so still to decide again nka say was Usman Dembele number 9 no on na wa withdraw on selling that to look at where na wa withdraw abegbodu and not any face the team and they often Chelsea one attack on so she the call right side konya decide dey or the ball but to weaker left foot no do bond the right now your favorite in that power women and weaker left foot no or boy shot on target actually. That save from Roberto Sanchez. That save from Robert. Gone with the days Robert Bow Washington.
Or improve now.
I think so. And eventually won the Golden Glove and cry. It was a save for me. Because this is a goalkeeper. He was demotivated. Only maybe you won the number of times and I want to try other goalkeepers. Anna.
Oh, it's just no Chelsea person almost sign a goalkeeper.
So you see? Believe in our form, but how was he diving for? Look at this. Highlight to go Facebook and to join on Spice 91.9 FM. Robert Sanchez had to take that ball and only save a ball. We went to now to him. Road to Chelsea on the face goal. It was created by Nankasa Robert Sanchez. Still with the press from Usman Dembele. And why be with other players and goalkeepers? Why do you for my question one? I feel selling the Dembele in the press not to that. Now Robert Sanchez say put in the penalty box and should be we will do Okitabono and baby now Dembele Gina ultimately mean Kabe button and all cross that ball. No. It was some way somehow a better the uno old delay.
Spice Center Sports.
But Robert no balu them born. I had a balloon born attraction. It's as if born or born like it's a purposeless kick. But he knew what he wanted. Yes, the correct pass. And he was targeting Malo Gusto. That time, Malo Gusto was overlap, highlighting the one on the Facebook. Oh. No Malo Gusto no overlap. I watch Nuno Mendes on the 1v1. And then the Nuno Mendes or Bre Papa. O meeting Micha. I will tell you why along the line. And in this 1v1, born a better one, Nuno Mendes needs to do. And no better Malo Gusto in the I feel Solomon Young quite Nuno Mendes at Yari. Nuno Mendes. What are you on the phone? No? And in this instance, fellas, you don't lose your footing. Dabi at all costs you have to be on your toe. Or they to Nejina Wanando. Men ten way. But no agent. Wakwati Afi, Malo Gusto and Wabasano Kono. Okodu penalty boss ma. I have told you earlier that the first two chances the me chono. Nina what targeting the left side of the team no Okita born and the Chelsea playing on Okita attack no. Which is the right side of Gigi Donnarumma. Malo Gusto is right footed. All about number 2. Fellas in Kiroko do on the right side, not the ball shot on targeter. No, so the ball now bought to the left. All about that Fajiju Donnarumma on the right side one. I want to be the go phone there Donnarumma on the right side one. A win. At the ball for Botuminia.
But found to win Koto.
There be. I feel also Katina. No, the target last pool one. But at that time, no, the defender was present and not block that ball. I feel who no. Some could be more no. Man square pass and man fan to. One no fear chilba. A certain Kopama also free again. So did the Memphis
do penalty
now one and the $100. Also by Jabona, what a pass one to the right foot to do. Also the derby. Coach Enzo Maresca catch him the Memphis Donnarumma on the right side. I feel the cartoon left to do. And we place out to Donnarumma on the right side. Win the first goal.
Almost short or pass.
Pass to the net too. Pass to the net.
I see.
That is the difference between Kopama and other attackers. On your intelligence.
I don't
Thank you. Say Lukaku, oh no, do I no kobo pum. No one kobo defender, another sign them catch on your intelligent striker. Why would you have a qualm?
Spice Center.
That is the difference between Kopama and other players.
Okay.
O place the ball to the right side of the goalkeeper. Or can work Okunya the first goal, no? That is shooting to the left side. I feel if Mama road to the second goal, no? And then for road 2, Chelsea won the second goal now. It was an attack for Paris Saint-Germain. PSG in a volley attack. In Taboria, Paris Saint-Germain plays in Chelsea 1.5. And now Nuno Mendes tried all the ball now. There was an interception. I think Malo Gusto not stretch as a James. Yes. And not block that shot, no. And defense was turned into attack. I feel team no kita ball and call attack. No better than defense and I were better than defender. And then they will be on call defender and better than attacker. And a turnover and for team and the offense Chelsea. Now check this. Shokupama was say clearly Pam. Somebody can catch on number 7. No. But Saboni now on the left side on no bars the number 10. And then number 9 Wabe Enzo Fernandez and then also João Pedro. And Kupama number 7 Shasia. You know what's stretching is that is communication. Tell who play no I don't find
one and you will be
if you come to go to catch it. We are going to for born to my Watson and such a baby. And if you have confidence and faith in your mate, only I catch I want you put it
on.
Thank you.
Because Obi ma pass Liverpool
center back
and on the right foot.
Another boy. This is pure taxes and little details. So,
into a hakakra that seconds wa massa pass.
Make catch on there. In pocket a ball. No, you know the next player na the ball Bakwakomano. Or pass on you
Oh no.
Pass into the space for me after the communication or born at war. Or for no confidence earlier on make catch on Wasanaba. One people know I come. It take on Vitinha because that time no minutes you absent.
Okoye man.
Okoye nombe. I feel Vitinha no beno. Vitinha so kwambone proper tackle bi Adam. Nena nkatenkete. Obeya na wadan we besine twum. The next defender aba was on so adan so mo abesine twum. I feel work on the pool. Member shot and a pass. No, was na pass that call. Gigi Donnarumma and right one was a one kwanden. Was na pass. That is tactical discipline. That is sticking to the plan.
Why so no shit?
When you 2 days for stick to the plan. Here we have. Stretch. A boy wants a Lincoln. A young mobile shot will quite different defender no off target. I feel Gigi stretch and insane to Manca Bono. Oh, come on, insane to Maca. Natures would in the second goal. No. Now to the third, that's a go and now what say. And so from Chelsea, I want to answer 1/2. About the number of men and Paris Saint-Germain will commit and how a PSG will lose possession around that time and now what attempt another attack. And made in Ghana catch the Nuno Mendes a bray. And fellas, tell if Nuno calls V-channel for to the mom. And this sounds very funny. In fact, I'm telling you, every game in the live, this thing you will not see it. In the hour game, you didn't see this. I'm telling you. Now, Nuno Mendes was under my second red. What do you see him doing?
Yeah, has a throw be.
Thank you. Many can I catch on no overload will be brave. Into Copama for Bona and Alton and so start all the Frevicha Quaraski that shall come and support me here. Blendable bomb no conform or Dawson.
Down on Quan.
Now what's
Nam?
Half.
Malo Gustus in the console.
Thank you,
Copama so nam ho. On Quan
Fernandez is such a tension. Now your president also withdraw on Coletto. No, no, one. Into what and so Frevicha Quaraski the Jack. Actually. By this time you should be here supporting me because of no one or doors mountain in the middle of the day. I feel Frevicha be Virginia. What can bear 2 steps so no will do. PH one penalty box should be a Vicha Quaraski and a war friend or more support and very be on them. If you watch would have 3v1. Chelsea plays the 3 Paris Saint-Germain now got 10 Nuno Mendes and open action. And there was a confusion we created with the man because all Benin now he is torn in between decisions. Men Comalo Gusto, men try out Pedro now Copama and another born neighbor. Men Conamon personal confusion. What about the boy in its room? And Malo Gusto intelligently how to draw on Nuno Mendes to him. Into the round all day fast, say had in a mark in the green fellas. Or all about the passo. He's just running into that space just to draw the player Nuno Mendes to him. More by your being space, not the final pass, not that shame. And that is where the intelligence comes in again. And look at that pass from Copama, splitting the defense of Paris Saint-Germain. And I tell Nuno Mendes now, and how Pedro had to attack that space. Or quite a 1v1 on the goalkeeper. Member short to Nkuno cause no mamma wono. And I meant to net no I meant chip in Fanado. Pick the cheapest of decisions.
Nicolas Jackson and what watching you.
Because on your intelligent striker. Look at what watching because on your intelligent striker. Yes, that is the difference. Chipu Bonica Crabby will beat the goalkeeper. No. So Gigi no room and the size. Chippy and a bonny beats and walk question it. So ghosts in the chances saying nah fellas. They were straight from the dressing or the training grounds. Okay. Nti say yemu binu ya sing the praises of Enzo Maresca. Ejuma ni nyina na waya no. Ejuma no ni nyina na Enzo Maresca waya no. Now to the red card of Yao Neves. It is silly. It is bad dash nyanse bie ni. And you want the dark side of the game. On of the dark art. In the chance where you see Papa immediately they lose possession. It's either they foul you or they block your passing lane. Honestly, for training grounds. And the foul no be comment no fellas. One foul no be the yellow card. And that's at the 28th minute. Now about 3 yellow cards in the Chelsea players in the way did they don't care. And then that it was Malo Gusto no forcing Yao Neves. And what did the red card no? Because born in the war, Yao Neves ran now attack his space. And I will be sending him on the ref in way home. But the reaction we saw him pull his afro.
Marco Creel.
Yes, Marco Trinity, Marco Creel, anything. So the red card, the fellas, but it was down to the frustration. And the Chelsea were frustrated. One pop. But we have now for near fair. Minister selling AJ Matt. Oh, yeah. This is very beautiful. If I'm out to my Facebook page, or I make picture of the week. You just knew, you know.
Marco Creel.
Oh, fair. Pop. Now, what to the man they pay kuna. Ebi say munat mo say why you want you for say kwotwe abasa no baba. So the red card was so worth it, and it was down to the frustration. The frustration even after the final whistle affected the coach. Luis Enrique Crown Poco Coma, Yao Pedro Qua slap Nadi. Oh, come on, slap no, you blame. No, I at least expected that from him. With his level, there's the last and I will who slap in the baby. do ja from mol team na the captain there be bad catch one boy and slap him and na papa no only ended na all for yawo nervous that is Pedro no but ma menke yin kan no bi no attack the mass I even posted there oh was there abrofo no say wo bobo na say bibilisi a na wa pan the camera with Davido no that got to be because one put we project the didn't see them fight
oh
and this is what akoda na nka yeti ko ye dem wo wall ko park they show it they show it what the camera to them no wall ko ana nne wan fan to them yin ho a otum ko break mpo na wasan so abare wo for ko bi
replay
aha wo repeat we slow mo ni ya wall ko say when you tell me okruma na hendi yin sponsors because akọ park na wo ye dey wo ko na wo dey na camera da do na abofo on them ni dey ho a
flash
flower and ash no wo ko esa na be yi replay the reverse angle with the slow mo de me hwe oh me na so am ko didi kakra. So I appreciate the Chelsea setup, solid group and great mentality, and from the fans now to the supporters and only the players on the field of play. I think they had that kind of unity and then also work force and they don't know what they call fair. But minimum say Moses Caicedo the picture with the girlfriend now all the trend in the and then the then and now and sticking to one girl through the hard days and then also in the year in Indian but not selling that to do. In the Nyamia be pop. Moses Caicedo back to Robert Sanchez to congratulate him on he winning the Golden Glove. No? And imagine him the awards from the baby Nano was down to end that game, no, because personally, for Kopama to have won the, Golden Boot, now I say award, and I think
Golden Boy,
Golden Boy rather. I think it's question mark. So he ended the game, no MVP, consider fair enough, but it was the whole tournament, and decided games to being the youngest player, and that's what they award them, and I think they only that bad, but Nina Koba. Obesi the mastermind and Ankasa Nabuano. Enzo Maresca. No wonder or a student of Pep Guardiola. And there's a Pep Nutrina
student of Pep Guardiola.
He's a student of Pep Guardiola.
Maybe, or a student of Manuel Pellegrini.
Hey, as soon as I go for him, because no a Man City reserve manager 2020 day, but Pep in 2022.
Before that, now on a Pellegrini a year more West.
So you are as good as your last performance. Who taught you last?
And who taught
well, nonetheless, and the people of Pellegrini, the people of Pep Guardiola, take nothing away from Pep. How about that?
No, I don't want to take. I don't want to accept.
I bet show man.
Oh, there you say maybe a credit one you.
Somebody be a man.
You credit
Pellegrini. No, me even show them a Pep. It's Pep the M man.
Because on record, Enzo Maresca no crack say Pellegrini ne godfather.
No Pepe.
When it comes to
coach. Pepe don't win it.
I acknowledge the first one. Now you Juma pain. That is normal.
But you can count the Chelsea assembled the youngest starting 11 at the FIFA Club World Cup. 24.5 years.
Sound.
Meant 24.5 years. But fellas, 24.5 years. On the average, I think it is very good. But when you are Jama, one central defender now, only Levi Kowal Bueno, Trevor Chalobah. The story is very sad because my McKay, I can't offer the pump where if you want him or permanent training. A bound on the Crystal Palace balloon. No, I'm going you.
Before that, on Jenny Jason number.
Jenny Jason number, I finish him. No, I'm going to say, you watch fast, blah, 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 blah. Fellas, obey no more abaji. No more abaji. Obey and the Champions League qualification number, or the Conference League. England national team call sounds so many debut, or there's solo was sounds watch the FIFA Club World Cup. But says I cash out. Boys
Center Sports.
Hey, 4 cash out. Group stage $4 million. Group round of 16, $7.5 million. Quarter final $13.125 million. Semi final was $21 million. No fate. One room of final no it was 30 million. Edge cap and was on the 40 million that can win total $115.625 million. The Blues are far. Only when you skillful, when you skillful. But FIFA Club World Cup, the new format, no, this is for so. So young congratulate FIFA for a successful tournament. Isn't it successful?
Oh,
in the whole stage now what they performing now. I was wondering. Hey, into what perform we are. Obasanjo will remove. No go for one settle. No, I'll continue. Hey, challenge confirm advance. So yellow ben one woje wo. But to answer the also question of the days, you know. my Paris Saint-Germain results no win no. And only can be na Bebre na will predict one no a favorite ahead of Team Chelsea before the grand finale no. Because it match Inter in the Champions League final 5-0. Asha Atletico de Madrid 4-0. Asha Bayern Munich 4-0. Real Madrid 4-0. Next Chelsea liba dia. Fellas, the to no for predict no. It should have been. But for Chelsea to have overturned the deficit, to have defied all odds. Now with the breakdown or within the analysis need the fellas. I wouldn't say the Paris Saint-Germain or disappoint him. Or Chelsea rather no way impress him. And you better credit one. And give credit where it is due. It is rather Chelsea and I will impress him. Pana. I think not load about one to go into the next season. And with the target with the room and baby, you be expecting no wood, you know. But to answer the whole question, I was rather impressed with Chelsea and not overly disappointed in Paris Saint-Germain.
I Spice